last time y'all ran somewhere?
Somewhere, to a point, or ran for exercise?
Ran somewhere. What were you running to? Like, I'll explain. Like,
okay.
The other day, we were in line at Walmart and I forgot something, and I had to, and I ran for it while Krista was waiting in line.
What'd you forget?
A Michelada mix.
Yeah, you gotta run for those.
Yeah. What's the last time you ran to something?
I ran this Saturday at the LSU Alabama football game because my little brother got separated from the group because he had to piss on the long walk home. And so I was like the conduit in between the group ahead, and I was also like making sure that he caught up to us. And then so I had to run back to the group with him.
I think the last time I ran to something, not just like for exercise, was like running to my advisor at our old school to drop a class. It was like 4:50 p.m. and I think she left at like 5.
Was it the last day?
Yeah.
That last droppable day. Yeah.
And it's so easy now. You couldn't do that online?
I can now.
Yeah.
Not our old school. Administrative nightmare.
Yep. We had the same, for a while, we had the same advisor.
Yeah. She had a really cool name. It was like, wasn't it that old PS2 game?
Kessin.
Kessin?
Yeah.
I've played Kessin.
Yeah. That was her first
Bet your
name.
ass I've played Kessin.
That was her full name.
Oh,
Kessin for the PS2.
Yeah, she was
Kessin
like...
for the PS2?
She was like Cher. She only went by that name.
Kessin.
No, it was something else. It was like...
I don't remember.
The Kessel Run?
Kessler or something.
Kessler.
The Kessel Run.
Kessel Run.
Speaking of...
I was wondering where are you taking this?
Speaking of interdimensional travel...
Alright, I don't think you watched the same movie as us.
Oh, man.
What do you watch?
I'm kidding.
Jesus. I was concerned for a second. No, please. Continue.
Let's talk about The American Friend.
Okay,
that was my transition.
That's a hell of a segue. All right.
The Tatooine Friend. Chris?
Thanks for that beautiful setup. Let me knock it down for you. Okay. We watched The American Friend this past 2 weeks. What did you guys think? Let's talk about it. Let's have a great discussion. We're here.
Oh, I'll tell you what.
This is a low energy cast.
Yeah.
No, well, I'm like Dennis Hopper. I'm about to take it up a notch. Like he always.
I think we feed off of your energy.
Oh, we got it.
And I'll say first of all, I think that like German audiences maybe like they had a much better or European audience. It's a multilingual movie. It's cool.
Yeah, it is. It's English, German, and French.
German, French. And I think that's it. But
I think that's it.
Yeah, so like when he talks to his family or German countrymen, he speaks in German. When any of the Europeans are talking to each other from other countries, they speak English. Like they do a lot in Europe. When he's of course speaking to his American friend, Dennis Hopper.
When he's talking to the doctor, he's talking to him in Swiss.
Was that Swiss?
That's German.
That might as well have been German to me.
Well,
Swiss people speak German.
Oh, okay. But even then, like the fact that
you just know "ja" and
like the fact that
"ja."
the fact that so many countries that are both ethnically diverse, but just like not both ethnically diverse, but they're so ethnically diverse and just jam packed into such a small area. Like that. Besides,
it's like states in the U.S.
Yeah, it is. And
but even more so because
which is crazy considering how different the cultures are between the countries.
Yeah,
because compare Italians to Swedish people. Just it's completely different.
Completely
and it's cool.
Different history, completely different.
Yeah, like
culture.
the only thing that I can think outside of that, and this is only because I've had like Chinese and Vietnamese friends, is like Southeast Asia is a mix like that as well. Or just Asia in general is a mix like that as well.
Yeah,
it's not uncommon for you to know at least some vocabulary in different languages that you speak.
Yeah. Right, especially if you had bordered, if you lived on the Chinese-Vietnamese border, you would naturally speak, some Chinese and Vietnamese. I was thinking about that today. I was reading Bram Stoker's Dracula, and he talks to the Romanians in German, and he talks about how there's a bunch of there's Slavs, Czechs. And that when the protagonist is making his way to English, he has to speak in German because that's the mutually intelligible language for all those folks down there.
Isn't there like a universal language, sort of, and isn't it French? Like, that's why they do it at all the tennis
in
tournaments.
Europe?
French used to be a universal language, and it definitely is when you're dealing with, say, a certain crosscut of the world, which Algeria...
Yeah, like Northern Africa
right.
speaks French.
Yeah, so for a certain cut of the world, yes. Yeah. But also, like, for instance, I was in Germany recently, and you see a lot of Europeans talking to each other in English when they're
funny.
That's cool. I mean, like,
it's really so funny how little of the population in the U.S. speaks another language.
Yeah.
Comparatively speaking.
And it's weird that, like, in that population, some of them are not even willing to. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
but it's also like necessity is the mother of invention.
Yeah. Sure.
Like Europeans have to. It's not just because they're
so close together.
They're super
like
cool.
Yeah, not because they're ethnically conscious.
Or they're just, inherently better people. Yeah. It's like
might be.
I don't know.
No, this movie might not be the best example of it. But
yeah, I mean, but so like I was getting is like the European audience gets the benefit of not knowing who Dennis Hopper is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But also in defense though, Dennis Hopper didn't have as many like wild movies before this. He had like what's that one? Easy Rider. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to remember what else he was in before.
I'm actually pretty unfamiliar with all of Dennis Hopper's stuff, except I read something about his role in Blue Velvet as being like a Renaissance period for him, or taking out of his comfort zone.
I don't know, because that's definitely my point of reference for Dennis Hopper is Blue Velvet, and I could see some of his performance.
See, because I was
Blue Velvet in this one.
The way that I read that was like, this is almost like a McConaughey kind of thing, where it's like, oh, they took him out of his element, and he was great in True Detective or something like that.
Yeah, True Detective, which came after that, and so like, and then he was like a villain in movie with Keanu Reeves, and he's on a bus. Speed. Yeah, he's a villain. He's actually really good in that. And but at any rate, like this was a peculiar movie. It's back to back weeks. I think this movie's kind of a mixed bag.
Yeah.
It's but it's cool that it's on the Criterion, because it's like, I think it's on it for just virtue of the cinematography.
Yep.
Yeah.
The thing with this movie, for me at least, is it's so close to what I think would be like a really tremendous movie.
Yeah.
But there are like some weird little missteps here and there.
Yeah.
But like, in terms of just cinematography, like you were saying, it's like way ahead of its time.
Just composition.
It's
in
like
general. Like,
yeah, it's like the most dreamlike movie I've seen in a while. And considering it was, what was it, 77, I think?
Yeah.
It's really impressive. Like, all the really bright contrasting colors, all the extreme close-ups.
It's very impressive, and it's tremendous that I got to watch the Criterion print remaster.
Yeah.
That they had available on Amazon Prime. And it looked fantastic, and it makes me want to watch like even more movies that have been remastered. I've seen like a handful of Criterion movies, but this one was particularly cool. Like I said, like colors were really great. Composition. I
love the lead actor too.
Yeah, I was gonna say the acting is the mixed bag. Like nobody.
I thought Dennis Hopper was kind of weak.
Yeah, well, yes and no. It's like, what I was gonna say is, so the director, I think that it's probably harder to direct an actor in another language.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah. Like, little things that sound off, like, his delivery was a little weird at times.
For example, near the beginning, when someone's at his house, he says, like, take another step and I'll blow you away,
right,
mister.
Like, really awkward.
Yeah. Which is so jarring compared to the rest of the film, which is so like
understated.
Yeah, it's really strange
and natural.
It's such a slow burn.
But
it was almost like a bad John Wayne Western movie.
Yeah, it almost becomes cheesy when they say stuff like that, when it should be super serious,
Right, because Zimmerman is in a very subdued, realistic mode. And Zimmerman's great. The guy, I don't know the actor,
Bruno
but
Ganz,
that guy
he was awesome.
Was a great actor. I admired his mustache.
Yep.
I admired
his dad had a mustache.
His dad has a mustache. My dad had a mustache.
Nice.
And then he shaved it.
It fell off.
That was upsetting. My little sister cried.
Does your dad? Sorry to get really off topic,
No.
but
It's all right.
does your dad keep a regular look? Like, does your dad keep a regular like?
It's only changed once, and it was the mustache. He was clean shaven, mustache, for like 25 years.
Yeah.
And same haircut.
My dad is the exact same way, and it is terrifying when they change it.
Yeah,
Like-
and then nothing's
I've never
changed.
seen my dad have a different style. The only thing that's different is he's always had, until recently, he always had the gray beard and then a blonde mustache.
Yeah.
But now it's gray.
It's all gray.
No, but yeah, like I think Bruno's acting was tremendous. I think the thing that stuck out to me most about this movie, and I think the last 4 or 5 movies that we've seen, I've actually been wearing headphones, and that makes such a difference.
Sound design?
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
the sound design in this movie is really, really good, or interesting at least, because, like you were saying, this movie does stuff that's really ahead of its time. I think the way that they switch between scenes is really cool. The way that they use sound to punctuate scenes is really cool. Like, an ending of a scene will be some really loud sound, or like birds flapping and stuff like that.
Right.
The way that they specifically with sound and the way they transition in scenes.
And if you've ever done any editing like that, like story editing, one of the hardest things to do is transitions.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
make them smooth.
Yeah.
It's so difficult. And I love stuff like that. Because, like, even when I'm editing dumb little things, like, whatever, like school projects, that's, like, one of the hardest things to nail down is a proper transition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's really underappreciated.
They do it really cool too, because like there are parts in the movie where the characters, the interactions between the characters will stop, and then the camera will be static in a scene for a second, where it's just like the world continues after this interactions happen, and then they switch to a different scene where it happens again.
Yeah.
It's so cool the way that the movie is paced. Like it's dreamlike. Like
It is.
Yeah, I got something to add to that. So this movie, like, something I think old movies have and European movies have more, and what I think a lot of people like about older films and European films is, you know, when you're shaking your angry old man fist at Hollywood, is that, like, there's silence.
Yep.
There's not everything is scored. So even if you watch, say, a recent Oscar baiting movie like Manchester by the Sea or Nightcrawler, right? I think that those movies, if I had to guess, like, conservatively, would have twice as much score per scene, in an like, all things considered, than this film particularly, right? And so, but when they did use score, there were some interesting things. There was, when you started talking about dreamlike and other things, like, I don't think it was too dreamlike, but at the same time, it's like the Radiohead had a new album like 2 years ago, and there's a song in it where, like, Tom York's like walking through a dream or whatever, and I think they sample the score.
really.
Or it's an homage,
Huh.
you know, because it's definitely got the same vibe. And then another thing is, like, I hadn't seen this movie. I'd seen it on list and I didn't know about it.
Yeah.
The Dennis Hopper with the talking.
Yeah.
I've seen that referenced in, like, pop culture before. At least one I can think of for sure is, like, there's a Key and Peele sketch where he finds one of their tape recorder where they're just, like, waxing poetic about, like, their existential dread or whatever. I'm still confused with what they were trying to accomplish.
That's
with,
how
like,
I
Dennis
feel about
Hopper's character.
a lot of the movie.
There's some parts that are like,
Yes,
I don't-
that's
yeah.
what let's go ahead and, like, what do you think about the plot or the story?
Um,
Because what I have to say about it is it's really not that complicated of a plot,
Nope.
but I found it kind of hard to follow.
follow along. Me too.
I've seen it twice though, so it was a lot easier the second time.
There are parts where I get lost for a second. I'm just like, wait, has this person? Have they explained what they're doing?
Specifically, the part where they get the second opinion, quote unquote, and it's falsified.
yeah, and you see the Frenchman kind of.
I had no idea what was going on. I was like, okay, wait. Did he get bad news or what's happening? And now he's gonna kill the guy. Like, it's kind of weird like that.
Right, and then, like, I never knew what was going on with his old Dennis Hopper's compadre.
Yep.
The dead artist, or the quote unquote dead artist.
Yes, the very ending. That's my least favorite part.
Yeah, me too.
Because he has nothing to do with the story almost.
Yeah.
And it's like the poignant moment supposedly.
Yeah.
Am I missing something?
I wish it would have ended.
What happened to his eye? Did Dennis Hopper take his eye out?
It was just a cool character design.
No, he didn't have the eye patch before.
Wait, really?
Then,
did he not?
No, he did not. He doesn't have the eye patch at the beginning. And then they talk about how he has a better eye than you. You remember? When he's talking, and he goes, not for long.
Oh, wow.
And then the next scene we see, his homeboy's wearing an eye patch. And...
See? I completely missed that.
Yeah, me too.
That detail was completely lost in...
Did he take his eye out? Is he, like, that crazy or unhinged? Like...
Because you never really get that feeling.
Yeah, and, like, what is he? You know?
Yeah.
Like, what does he do? Like, he
well,
wants to prevent the murder.
He's the one that doesn't want to murder anybody. And he conscripts Jonathan to do it.
Yeah.
Unwillingly.
Yeah.
And then... So he goes to try to prevent it for some reason... Because that's in his character, I guess.
Yeah.
And then he's like, nah, motherfucker, ride or die.
Yeah.
Like...
There's some things, you know, there's some scenes and there are some things that happen in the plot where, you know, that lack of communication is important, and it's actually, it helps with the story. Like, the second time Jonathan is hired to do the murder, he never tells, what's the name of the Frenchman?
Raoul?
He never tells Raoul yes, but he still does it.
Yeah.
Like, that's an important thing to not say, because he did it the first time, but he knows he needs the money. So even if he tells Raoul no, he's still gonna do it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that lack of communication of that fact is important. But there's some stuff, like y'all are saying, that's just I didn't know that. Like, what?
It almost, some of the stuff, like specifically the very end where the guy kind of gets up and walks away into the distance, it almost feels like a film student that was like really deep into himself and his own symbolism that he thinks he's made, but it's totally lost on everybody else.
Yeah.
But, well, it's like, it seems to be adapted from a very, not run-of-the-mill in a pejorative, but like run-of-the-mill crime story, like thriller.
Yeah.
Right? But it's very strange with the existential rambling of Dennis Hopper. At the beginning, there's certain uses. I was trying to think of what they meant at the beginning, but you notice there's like a lot of red, right? There's the red light when he comes in. When Dennis Hopper wakes up, his sheets are red. You know, he goes to the curtains. They're red. And I was like, oh, this has to... And then they completely drop the motif.
Yep.
Yeah.
Even though that I felt like at least that was something clearly that was important at the beginning, you know? But maybe not.
That's the thing. That's what I was saying. It has all the right parts to be like an outstanding like masterwork.
Yeah, which is why I told Victoria, I was watching it, I was like, I'm super glad that the folks at Criterion, you know, did this up. People get to watch it and learn about it, because it actually makes sense why this isn't known as a masterpiece. Like when Chris said, oh, I'm doing a German movie. Like, I know a few German movies, namely Tin Drum, which is also on the Criterion, and Das Boot, you know, which are considered like German masterpieces. And then there's, of course, the German Impressionism, like many years before in the 1930s, like M. But like this movie I'd never ever heard of, you know? But it's definitely, and it reminds me of the weird Japanese films I've seen on the Criterion Collection, which by no means I'm like, you have to watch this movie. Because they're like, some of them are like really offensive, but have like really great cinematography, great score, unique pacing, you know? Like, one of a kind, you know, editing, you know, like,
this feels like a movie
for sure.
This feels like a movie you would show in a film class to talk about. Like,
you could take things that you should do right, like by this movie, and things that you should avoid, like this movie.
That's why I would disagree. That's why I don't think it's a good thing to show a class, because have you heard like when it comes to learning the form of something, like you learn all the rules, right? So in cinematography, videography, you learn like composition rules. You learn not to cross. You know, I forget the line. It's been so long. You know what I'm talking about, right? Like there's like a line of action, and like when you're doing blocking, like you don't cross it. But once you've mastered all the rules,
then you start breaking.
Then you get the authority, if you will.
Because
you know when to break the rules.
Yeah, who was it? Is like abstractionist artists and stuff like it.
Yeah.
When I think about that, I think about Picasso.
Yes.
Like by 16,
Totally.
he was a master painter. He knew perfect anatomy, and then that's when he said, learning to draw like a child is the hardest thing you can do. Like, learning to purely draw like a child is the hardest thing you can do. And, like you say, knowing when to break the rules is what makes art, like, incredible art, incredible.
Right. But, with this movie, like I said, it's kind of a run-of-the-mill plot, but it's very unique in that this doesn't have to be a 2-hour movie. Mm-hmm. But it is.
Yeah.
It takes its time with everything. Fucking hell, man! Like you get no action for the first hour.
Yeah.
It's almost a case study film. Mm-hmm. The first hour is a case study. Mm-hmm. One man, his internal turmoil, coming to terms with his mortality, and all that shit. And it's like, what movie am I watching?
Yeah.
Read a synopsis of Ripley's Game, the novel it's based off. It's very like, and then he does this and this and this, and then the race is on. The chase is afoot. It's like.
Yeah, honestly, I can't really tell you what happens in that first hour because it's just a lot of like slow moving around and like pregnant pauses and things like that.
But I don't know. So like, I think sometimes that pays off. Or for me,
I like stuff like that.
It paid off because
it's a fantastic break.
That whenever he commits the first murder, I was so nervous that entire scene. When he's like standing around at the terminal, and he's just like glancing back at him. That scene made me incredibly nervous. Like I felt that panic and that like, and whenever the gunshot goes off, it's loud. Like
that
almost,
was a real
almost
blink.
Hurts how loud it is, and I think
there's something about that cut that take that they did that was perfect. Like the camera shook at the perfect moment. I don't know.
That contrast, I think, it lended to itself very well, and I think that I don't know whether that scene deserved to have 1 hour of build-up.
Yeah,
but 40 minutes.
Yeah, no, it could be 50.
Yeah, it's just it felt 40. Way too long
because they're on the train at like hour 20 or something,
and that happens like 5 minutes into this. Like Like, I need to see how long it is between the first and second murder and the beginning of the movie and the first murder.
Right.
Because it must have been like 15 minutes
in the last like 45 minutes. There's so much.
Yeah.
And then like the beginning, they just stretch it out so far. You know.
I mean, they're trying to portray Jonathan as not like a killer.
Yeah.
He's not affiliated with these crime bosses or anything, but.
Whatever they are, you know, like, man, that...
Yeah, and that's not really explained either.
Right.
It's kind of understood this guy needs someone to murder somebody.
Yeah.
And then he's playing a big game, the French guy.
And then the mafia at some point
gets
shows
wind
up.
of it, and they try to bomb him.
Yeah, a bombing happens off screen.
Yeah. And it's like...
This movie really does not communicate some stuff to you.
But like the first hour is all just...
Who cares?
Pauses.
Yeah.
But, well, I would say my favorite moments are in the first hour. I actually don't like it.
I like the first half the best.
Yeah, me too. I don't like the train scene forward.
I don't really either.
Yeah.
I mean, I like it, but I don't...
Everything I like is things that stand up real quick in my head. Like, rapid fire is when he's tailing the guy, and there's the overhead shot of the escalators.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's really cool.
That's really cool.
I really like the whole tailing scene. Mm-hmm. It's really cool. I really like some of the... like the outdoor scenes. There's one where Zimmerman is just looking out his window, and it's not like it's kind of like a Dutch angle, but it's also not really, because Dutch angle's I think really tilted. It's from the bottom, like the floor level, looking up at him, and it's using natural light and everything. And I was like, it just made me think, like, why do movies choose to be so boring? Like, why does even, say, the serious American films, right? Mm-hmm. Like, why are they so... Like, why do they lack so much finesse? Or at least, like, desire to do beautiful and, like creative things aside from just... Okay, so even, like, movies which people say they have, like, amazing cinematography, like, the Revenant, like, that guy, that director.
Yeah.
His DP. Like, he gets all the things. But it's also, like, well, a beautiful vista... on a wide lens is beautiful, period.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
He didn't make it.
It's captivating.
It's not creative.
Right, it's very captivating in itself, But, like, playing with things of, like, the natural borders of windows in a house, the directions that an escalator is, like a 3-tier escalator takes, like why not, like, take advantage of those things? And, like, that's why it's fun and great to sit back and watch a movie like this, because otherwise I'm just gonna watch an occasional horror movie, a comedy I've seen 1,000 times, in a new Marvel movie, and I'm not gonna get something like this, which is, like, really fun.
Yeah. I mean, it was like I really enjoyed the movie. Like, ultimately is what I'll say. There's some stuff that it stands out every once in a while. There's one shot whenever Zimmerman comes back home and he's searching through the rooms looking for his wife and his children.
Hey, what was the thing you did with the gold?
Oh, when he gilded his
palm.
That
was cool.
Yeah,
that was cool.
Yeah,
and then he picked up the phone.
Yeah,
what was that?
I don't.
Does anybody know what that?
Fingerprints, but it's his own shop.
Yeah,
they trace it back to them.
Who knows?
Already.
That's what I'm talking about, with little weird missteps like that. Like, it looked cool, but what
the whole
wasn't?
thing with him. Blowing on it, I was like, whoa.
Yeah,
that's the whole thing, though. It's like, it looks cool and it, like, seems cool, but then, like, what purpose does it serve? There was just the same thing with the very ending of the cool guy with the eye patch walking away into the distance. Like, that might be cool if it meant anything.
Yeah, if he was if he was the mastermind of the whole thing. Yeah,
like, he orchestrated the whole thing. Yeah. Is that what they're trying to get at?
Who knows?
I don't know.
There was a shot. So you remember when they shoot the guy that's chasing them down the stairs and he tumbles down the stairs and all that stuff?
Yeah.
And then the French guy whacks the guy in the ambulance unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
And then both Zimmerman and Dennis Hopper's character, they go back up to the top, and then Dennis Hopper throws this, like, bloody rag on the floor, and then Zimmerman picks it up and waves it around, and then he throws it again on the floor. He's like, no, forget it. And then they hug it out. It's like, what? And then they start jumping and cheering and hugging. Like, there's just some stuff that doesn't make sense.
That's what I'm saying. It's so close. If they could just, like, clean up a few things, it would be so much better. And for
a little while, look, like, I'm not the most like into. I don't immediately get movies. Movies that are supposed to be deep. And scenes like that made me feel dumb at the beginning. But after a while, I was just like, no, fuck these guys.
Yeah.
It's like, there's nothing to get.
No.
Or maybe there is something to get, but...
Well, it's also like... So what's great about, like, a Coen's brother movie, right, is that it's super succinct.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's a segment of the movie watching crew population that's, not going to get, like, the obvious, thing about No Country for Old Men, that bad things happen to good people, period, and there is no often divine retribution in this life. It just is what it is, right?
We have a friend that hates the end of the movie. He said the movie sucks.
But what I'm saying is there's a good deal of people who do. Not everybody is stupid. Audiences aren't as stupid as I think Hollywood
thinks they are. Check that user score for Suicide Squad.
I mean, but that's also a sampling error and all kinds of other issues. I really don't think that, like, all audiences are as stupid as Hollywood thinks that they are. But that being said, like, this is not a movie where the point is to
make you
be aloof or, like, leave things in. It's actually a pretty simple.
It is.
Noir plot, like crime plot, and it makes things complicated for no reason, by omission of details, for no artistic purpose, and also shoddily handling the presentation of other plot elements. So it's the omission of it for no artistic reason, and the fumbling up of certain parts of it by just, lack of execution. And so it's like...
See, I was kind of grappling with that. Like, does the director... Like, did he get what he was doing and, like, no one else really... Like, Not that it was like trying to do something really deep, but like it made sense to him chronologically, and he didn't really go over it with anybody else. Maybe
exactly. I think
because that's how it is to me.
Like I think sequencing is a big part of this movie. Like how the director planned his shots, what information he wanted to do. I would imagine if you took the book, right, like the whole first half probably gets done in the first 30 pages.
Yeah.
And what they put in the last hour was the last 270 pages. And he just had this idea of, where he's going to really take a good... We're going to spend a day with this guy, And that's where the movie is.
Yeah. And I've worked on stuff where, like, as I'm doing it, like, flying by the seat of my pants, just keep going. It makes sense in my head. But then when you watch the whole thing from front to back, or read the whole thing from front to back, it's like, there's no continuity here, really, that is gratifying at all.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like there's some isolated cool moments shoveled together.
But
that's what it feels like.
And that, and that's what separates, this movie from Taxi Driver.
That's the movie that came to mind.
I was about to say, what is the good version of this movie?
Taxi Driver, I think.
That there's an argument there.
Which came out a year before.
Also, great 70s movies would include like Scorpio with Al Pacino, like I think a movie called Cruising, which is also cool. These are all like, I guess, kind of like male-centered, like rooted films, with lots of silence and cities in the background. But yeah, I mean, nonetheless, it was really cool. And
it was a cool movie.
I really enjoyed looking at Germany, in northern Germany, where it was.
Yeah, that was a really interesting setting. I didn't know Hamburg was like a port city.
It looked like Baytown.
Yeah,
like when
cold Baytown.
When you looked out the window, I'm like, man, that looks familiar.
It's like these half destroyed apartments.
And... what's crazy is like
chimney stacks.
Lots of Volkswagens, right?
Yeah.
Not a lot of Volkswagens anymore in Germany. Yeah.
Is there like a bunch of French cars or something?
I mean, there's
Peugeots, there's Citroens,
but there's also just, as you would imagine, a lot of BMWs, a lot of Mercedes, and I saw maybe one Super Beetle, and I pay attention. I love looking at cars. There was one Super Beetle, new Super Beetle the whole time. I saw a handful of vintage Super Beetles. I would say they were I saw maybe 3 70s ones. That people were taking care of, just on a random block. But like a new Super Beetle, I only saw one.
Man.
Yeah.
But I mean, some of that stuff was really cool. I think the train was really cool.
Oh yeah, the trains look so cool.
Did you notice the shadow of the helicopter in the establishing
Wait, really?
shot? Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, it's near the top of the screen.
that's pretty funny. But
there were some things of course, I think most of our conversation is centered on things that were poorly executed.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I really liked that was well executed was the fact that they hired a stunt driver, presumably, and that spin out looked pretty legitimate.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really cool. Why did Zimmerman leave? Why did Zimmerman leave the guy behind after he burned the
Good question.
ambulance? I thought it was a joke at first. I thought he was just like, "Oh, y'all did it. Let me lead him on for a minute and be like, okay, fine, I'm gonna go back for him." But no, he just leaves and dies.
Well, see, that's the thing. You don't really know his motivation for that, other than maybe he's just trying to cut ties with anything revolving around the murders.
And the murders, yeah.
But then, even Dennis at the end is just like, good luck.
But why even go that far? Why drive out there with him?
Yeah.
But then, he's like, we made it. We made it anyway.
Yeah, that was I wrote that down. What was that?
He
said,
I think this is bros before hoes.
You think so?
He said, "We made it anyway, Jonathan. Be careful."
Yeah.
Like I said, those are the lines where you're like, what?
Yeah.
You could have used another American who cares a little bit about writing to help you advise the script.
Actually, now that we're talking about that, didn't Jonathan and his wife drive separately in the Volkswagen, and then Dennis Hopper's character drove the ambulance?
By himself.
Why did they follow him out there?
Yeah, he said, you drive because he's tired.
They'll drive him back.
Yeah.
That was the plan. Why did they drive out there with him? To see the ambulance blow up?
I guess. Who knows? I mean,
it feels like a first draft of a really good movie.
Here's what I think it is. Like we keep talking about like, well, it's like this is like that. I think here's my idea of what it is. I think it's like, you ask somebody to do like a simple job, like this, say, German production company is like, all right, we're gonna release a multinational movie. We're gonna put about $2 million into it. We're gonna make $10 million. We're gonna sell it in America. We're gonna sell it in France. We're gonna sell it in Germany. We're gonna adapt this, highly rated, best-selling crime novel. All right, boom, easy peasy, take care of it. And the director was like, nah.
I got my own plans.
I got my own plans. And he's like, and he does the thing with Dennis Hopper. He makes the first 30 pages an hour,
See, I think what I was trying to say is, I don't think there was any real deep meaning ever to anyone but the director himself.
It's like
with scenes like that.
It reminds me of like me in college or in high school.
It reminds me of me in high school.
When you think of something, when you think you're being really deep.
Yes.
Well, and not deep, but being super extra. Like I don't want to keep saying deep because that feels like some kind of shot at the director that I'm not trying to take. Like saying, "Oh, you think you're deep, but you're not. You're trying to make a nihilist." I don't think any of those things. I think
he just got caught up in.
He got caught up in something. He was really trying to express himself and be artistic for.
He wanted to have the poignant moment of the movie. Yeah, and I don't think he ever really got it.
Yeah, and the thing is what he was doing. Okay, so I think he wanted to take something simple like a heart racing crime thriller, right? Mm-hmm. And elevate it.
Make it an introspective, slow
to an artistic level.
Yeah.
But like the source material was wrong.
It doesn't afford it.
Like he had all these ideas that he was pushing on the source material. Like trying to make certain characters a certain way.
Milking it in a way.
Yeah, like maybe expanding on things in a way that wasn't necessary or called for, But like I said, it just reminds me of myself, like being really extra. Yeah. Like the teacher's like, okay, just write a 3-page essay, about the time something happened, and I start like trying to do like
and then your final sentence is why, your final sentence is why nothing matters.
You print it out and go,
yeah. Like just being really extra for no reason.
Yeah, like spelling errors. Just, maybe rethink the sentence.
The margins. Whoa, dude.
No, but like, and like what you're saying is he was looking for that poignant moment, and I think.
I want it to exist.
I think they could have had it, but
I do too.
I think if the movie ended when Zimmerman's wife steps out of the car, if that movie ended right there, I'd be like, oh, what an ending. You know what I mean? It's just like, but oh my god, I don't know why. I don't care for that old man.
Nobody did. He was a non-character.
I enjoyed it, but there's just some stuff that like
I think the reason we're being overly negative right now, and that's been the main like
the
tone of our discussion is we want it to be so much better than it really is.
Yeah.
But not even so much better, just we want it to be what we want, what it should be.
Yeah. It's like, because it's what does Rascal Flatts say? What hurts the most was being so close.
Damn. See, and that's the thing, right? Like, it's super obvious what this director was going for. You know what I mean? It's obvious
that he was
trying
for something.
Yeah.
What? I don't know 1,000%.
Yeah. But it does have the telltale signs of what could be an incredible movie.
Absolutely.
A classic.
Like, looks great.
Great lead.
Yeah, great actor.
Yeah.
Interesting setting.
Yeah.
Sound design is great.
Yeah, plot that
pretty much falls in line with other similarly remembered movies.
Well,
or what he was going for.
Yeah, well, it's like, so when you have a noir, and a big thing about noir is that you have a lot of red herrings. Things start, the layers get peeled back as the movie goes until you're left with a rotting onion, And so with this, it's like, you're asking yourself, okay, what is Dennis Hopper's like character. You know, what is the link for all this? You know, is the Frenchman forging the records? I thought about that. Turns out he was.
Yeah. At what point did we find out that they were falsified?
Whenever his wife opens up that package that came in for him, and she...
Was that after the...
Well, no, never mind. When she opens the package, that's when she finds out that he got the 97,000 note.
Okay, yeah.
It's whenever she is yelling at him for saying, you're hiding something from me. And then he says, look, here's the proof that when I went to Paris, I went to go get it. She looks at it, and then she comes by later, and she's just like, hey, they'd lied to you.
Oh, okay.
But they never explain how she figured that out, besides reading the note itself.
What's crazy is, like, all these important things the director does not think is important.
Yeah.
Like, how'd she know these things? Like, all these plot connections, he's like... They'll figure it out.
The point is, it's false.
Yeah, he's like, what's important is, you know, that he blows on this gold. thing, you know, we see him do for...
Why did Dennis Hopper give him, like, those porno pictures in the little, like...
That was pretty cool.
I mean, and where can I get one?
I was gonna say why, because that's his bro, man. And
his son was there.
Like I said, that's his bro, man. You giving the gift that keeps on giving. You feel me? Yeah.
He brings it up just to piss his wife off too. Thanks for the gift. As she's walking in, just hoping she would ask. Like,
oh man, she looked like Claire Danes.
I don't know,
from Homeland.
I can't remember what she looks like. I know who that is.
Romeo and Juliet with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh my god.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awful. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I'm like, yeah, you know what, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you, Chris. This was
I'm glad I could provide.
Eye-opening movie.
It was a fun movie.
I think this might be the first German film I've ever watched.
It's only like my second.
Actually, no. I saw. What is the name of that movie? It's about like Hitler's last days.
Oh, Downfall.
I've seen that one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've seen that one too.
The famous meme, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I almost don't want to watch that movie because of that. And by the way, Hitler...
Because the memification of it?
Is Bruno Ganz.
What?
Really?
Yeah.
I knew he was a good actor.
He's a big actor.
Yeah.
He's a damn good actor.
It's a good movie. I think...
To me, it falls on the level of, like, the original Italian Job, The Sting, what's that one movie? Bullet with Steve McQueen. It's like, you know, it's a great movie of its time period. Mm. You know, there's a lot of things which are unique and awesome. Yeah. And, you know, if you really want to get something in film that you can't, you know, get anywhere else, you know, you want to check it out.
Yeah.
For the everyday person who wants a plot you can follow, you know, like a great cast all around, and this is not that movie.
Maybe you should.
Yeah.
You know, watch
Taxi Driver.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but it was enjoyable.
I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All that being said, I enjoyed it.
Well, excellent.
Yeah. That was The American Friend. I like how like she goes, "And your American friend," and I was like,
I like that. I like there. American Hospital.
Oh yeah, I forgot that too.
I like sign that said American Hospital.
Yeah, I thought it would be like St. John's or whatever, or Methodist. Nah, it was American Hospital.
That was really good.
I'm your doctor, Uncle Sam. How are you?
Have a gun.
Have a gun.
Step into my pickup truck.
So yeah, as The American Friend, and it is
your turn.
My turn. Now, I was thinking about 3 movies that I wanted to choose from.
The Wedding Singer, The Wedding Banquet,
The Wedding Crashers,
7 Brides for 7 Brothers,
Doors.
My Big Fat Greek Wedding,
My Big Fat Greek Wedding,
Step Brothers, The Corpse Bride.
Corpse Bride, good one. Come on, Chris, get in on this.
Come on, give us a wedding movie. Wedding Crashers.
I thought we already said Wedding Crashers.
Say it again.
Okay. Bridesmaids?
Bridesmaids. Good one.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
The Marriage of Figaro.
Yeah.
Is a play that a lot of songs are in movies.
Shrek.
Shrek.
It's got a wedding.
Which one? Which one has the wedding? Shrek 2.
Is it?
Shrek 2.
Oh, yeah, it is the one with the wedding.
The wedding.
Yeah.
The wedding of the century.
Yeah, when Shrek is a hunk.
Yeah. Shrek 2. All right.
So what movie are you picking?
So I was between 3 movies. One I wanted to go with, but I did a British movie last time, and the other one I did a animated film already. So
are these still in your repertoire for later?
Yes, one of them is. The movie that I chose is a 1998 film written by Andrew Niccol and directed by Peter Weir. It is a Paramount Pictures movie starring Ed Harris and Jim Carrey.
What?
It is the movie The Truman Show.
Oh, hey! I've actually never seen it.
It is. I think it's.
Have you guys seen it?
Yeah.
It's the first movie I ever watched and thought, "Oh, this is good acting.
Yeah.
This is a good movie.
Yeah.
That's the first movie where I wasn't like, this is the best movie of all time, a la Terminator 2, Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Like that was. This is the best movie ever.
Yeah.
And then there was movies Blow.
Yeah.
The movies I've
seen
that was a good movie.
Many times on different lists, and I keep thinking about watching it. So I'm glad you finally picked it.
It's my favorite movie with Jim Carrey in it.
I feel like that's like the black sheep of his whole filmography, isn't it? He's not really done anything like that, has he?
He has.
He did 7, or what was that movie?
Not
7.
23.
23. It was a number.
That was a weird movie, but he has some movies where he's pretty good. He does a movie where he's Andy Kaufman.
Oh.
And it's a dramatic turn. Yeah. That one's good. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is another drama he's acted in.
I always think Joseph Gordon-Levitt is in that. What am I thinking of?
500 Days of Summer.
Okay, those seem like the same movies to me. I don't know anything
about
that
movie and fuck the Smiths.
Yeah. I agree with both of those. No, but it's one of the first...
You just hate Morrissey.
Yeah, I do.
It's the first movie that I think I saw Jim Carrey in where I actually really appreciated him. Like I was saying,
I always liked him. Yeah.
No, but I appreciated him in a different role, because I had seen movies like Liar Liar and The Mask where it was funny.
Yeah, I saw the movie The Cable Guy with him before that. So I was a kid when the Jim Carrey thing was in full swing. Mm-hmm. And so I got to watch all his movies within a year or so after they came out. I didn't see them in theater, but I saw them on VHS. Mm-hmm. And so The Cable Guy was a really unsettling dark comedy.
Yeah.
And then that was the year before this one.
Mm-hmm.
And so when The Truman Show came out, I think this was also one of the first movies I cried into.
I think this is the most serious, tonally serious movie he's ever been in, and it's PG.
Oh yeah, it is PG.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, and I'm just is it a PG-13? Because I had, The Mask is PG-13, Liar Liar is PG-13.
Yeah, all his movies were, except I think Me, You, and Irene is rated R.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Me, Myself, and Irene.
Yeah, he has
some pretty nasty
2
jokes in that.
rated R movies.
What's it? Fun with Dick and Jane is, I think, rated R as well.
No, that one's PG-13. The rated R one is I Love You, Philip Morris.
That's
you picked a G movie last time.
Railed in the prison.
You picked a G movie last time and a PG movie this time. You need to quit picking these stupid baby movies.
Oh, dude, I'm only stepping up.
You know what's
when it comes back 3 times.
You know what's funny?
You don't want to know.
Chris is saying that and he's joking, but I think that he recognizes a part of himself that he's making fun of.
You gotta step out.
No, that's really high school me thinking where.
Yeah, I know. I've seen your DVD collection.
The extreme is I have to have the extreme. It's either stuff like that.
Well, and it's also you got a lot of serious dramas.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they are. They're a lot of them crime.
Yeah.
Kind of centered in the real world. But Danny is a sweet soul, Chris, and I love that about him.
Me too.
And I'm looking forward to it. I love that about yourself.
No, but what I'll say about it is...
I think we're pretty good foils for each other, actually, in terms of our movie selections.
Yeah.
The last thing that I'll say about this movie is this movie is... It's almost like a sci-fi fantasy. Not sci-fi fantasy, but it's like...
It is.
It's rooted in reality, and it's crazy how how relevant it's.
Yeah, let's save it because there's a lot to talk about.
There's a really lot to talk about.
I know, like, the main idea. I guess it might be a spoiler.
Nah.
I think everyone knows that about it.
Okay,
like,
yeah, the very basic premise.
Yeah.
It's in the trailer.
Oh, okay. See, that's what I was wondering. Is that just something that's
not something that gets revealed.
That's how they introduced the movie.
Yeah.
Like, it's a...
You see the production team with him.
Yeah.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
If it was, like, ubiquitous or whatever, that everyone knows that this is what the movie's about.
Yeah.
Or it was like a cabin in the woods kind of thing.
Oh, no. It's pretty clear,
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad you get to watch it because it's
on Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
All right.
Oh, thank God.
Okay.